everything been going into the Olympics, training, everything of that sorts?
Very busy, but good.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot.
You are partnering with Gillette Venus for the 2024 Summer Olympics this year in Paris. Do you have a specific routine that you always do before a meet and before anything you do, going to practice, anything of that sorts?
Yeah, I mean, shaving wise, I shave every night. I love feeling smooth and powerful, like not only in the water, just in every aspect of my life. But yeah, it was just a very natural partnership. In and out of the water. I love that the brand's all about female empowerment. So yeah, it was a great fit.
Yes, how has this partnership like been for you? How did it come about? Did they reach out to you? How is that kind of looking on your end?
Yeah, well, they're big in the Olympic space. So it was just a really natural fit between that is kind of like a gateway to get to know the brand, and then yeah, like I said, it's all about girls and women, and then the water piece just really fit the campaign, like feel the power is smooth. Really applies to swimming. Like you talk about having a smooth stroke and then having smooth skin, so everything just fit really naturally.
Yeah, you're from Alaska. You've broken so many records for your home state. You were the first swimmer actually to make the USA Olympic team in swimming and win a medal and a gold medal at that. How was that
Yeah.
moment for you, and how did it feel to be able to do that and bring it home to your home state and to the USA?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I Alaska swimming is very small, like it's not obviously a big swimming state. So I've known like all the coaches, all the athletes like around the state for so long that it really like feels like I did it for them, which is really special. And just like I don't know if you saw the video of my hometown after the Olympic Games,
Yes.
cheering. That was really special. Like as soon as I got out of the pool, NBC had that playing in the mix zone. So I saw that live, and just really feeling that support from home was huge, especially during the pandemic when I couldn't have like any of my normal like supporting kind of community around me.
And whenever you qualified for the Olympics, what was that reaction like too? I bet that that was just as big of a deal as you going and bringing home that medal too. What was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. After I made the Olympics, like my hometown wanted to have a parade for me. But I was only home for like 48 hours before I like went to the Olympics, like for training camp. And so we like delayed it, and then they were having watch parties, so they had a watch party planned for like my prelims, and then they kept like adding more as I moved through. So I had one for prelims, one for semis, one for finals, and like when I got put on the relays, they like kept like sending out more like information about all the watch parties. So it was really special having them every step of the way, and also just knowing like the people there have known me since birth. So like knowing that they really were there since like day one, you know.
Yeah, and you were 17 when you went to the Olympics. You made your first splash in the Olympic pool at that young age. How has your training changed since then to you going into it this summer? And how does that kind of look for you whenever you're comparing you being in high school to now you're in college, you go to UT? How is that looking?
Yeah, obviously it's very different. I was at home for a year before I came to UT, because the Olympics were the summer of my junior year. So I went to school for one more year and then came down to Texas. So that was kind of a big transition with a new team and new coaches. But I feel like the biggest thing has just been like kind of mentally for me, is like I like nobody knew who I was going into Tokyo, so I was really able to like swim freely and just do it for myself. And after that, I felt a lot of pressure to like do it for like other people or meet expectations. So I've just kind of been going back to the mentality of like I've already done it and I have nothing to prove. Just allowing myself to swim for me.
Yeah, giving yourself kind of that space to be able to be like, I know what I'm doing. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
when you speak about the pressure that you kind of feel, how have you been able to kind of hone that back in going into this summer and being able to not only go back for your second time, but be able to hopefully do the same thing that you did?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely can be overwhelming, and like I won't lie and say it doesn't get to me once in a while. But I feel like for me it's been all about the people. Um like the last Olympic cycle really like showed me who like my true people were, and I feel like just having the right people behind me, the right brands behind me, that really share like my common interests and goals, and values in life.
Yeah, that all kind of goes back to Gillette Venus, like the women empowerment that you
Absolutely.
were speaking about, wanting to make everyone feel as confident in their skin as possible. Do you have any like go-to essentials that you always make sure you do before you go to a meet or in this case the Olympics? Is there a specific drink that you have to drink before? Or I know you're talking about shaving as well with the brand. How does that look as well?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite razor is the Deluxe Smooth Sensitive that Venus has. I think like as a ginger, I have super sensitive skin, so that one's great for me. Like no rashes, no irritation, which is something that I used to struggle with, especially a lot like as a kid. And then like for traveling, I have like the little Venus Mini, which is great. So shaving's a huge part of my routine, just feeling comfortable in my skin. Like swimming is such an exposing sport, so literally like everything is out. So feeling confident is huge. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a super like ritual person when it comes to like prepping for a meet. Like I just do what feels comfortable. I do what feels right in the moment. But yeah, good food, um, feeling good in my skin, and those are some of the most important things.
Yeah, and prepping for your meet, what does that process look like for you right now? Are you training all the time, every day? What does it look like?
Yeah, training all the time. Yeah, no, pretty much. I would say the last like year or two and months like have all been about conditioning, strength, power, speed. And now like leading into the Olympics, we're kind of finishing up those cycles and just fine tuning like technique, speed, and putting that all together leading into the game so that like when I get in the pool, I don't have to think about anything. I can just have complete confidence in what I've done to prepare.
What are you most excited for going back, being able to do this whole entire experience again? I can't even imagine what it was like for you your first time around. But what are you most excited for this time?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. I was just talking about this is that when I was little, like I made the Olympic team after the Olympics was delayed a year. And like when I was younger, I always had ambitions to be an Olympian, and I really thought like, oh, I'll be 20 in Paris, like that's like perfect age to be an Olympian. And then it all happened so early, that I'd always like kind of grown up thinking Paris was going to be my Olympics. So it's just exciting that that's finally come, and I'm excited um to see where that takes me.
Yeah, and you what age did you start swimming and how did this all come about? Like what made you draw to swimming? I know when you're little you kind of go to different sports and look around to see what best fits you. How did
Yeah.
swimming stand out for you?
I always say like the sport, you don't choose the sport chooses you. And I think that's very much true for swimming. I did swimming all growing up, but I also did like every other sport. I did like soccer, baseball, basketball, track and field. I actually did track until through high school. I did it leading into the Olympics. Um, but yeah, swimming was always kind of just the one that I really excelled at.
Yeah, was there someone that you looked up to that was an Olympian when you were young that you were like, "This is who I wanna be?" Or were you just like, "I just wanna go, I wanna be there, I wanna represent the United States at these amazing events that are just so polarizing for everyone across the nation and even around the world just to go and watch their home country be able to represent?"
Yeah, Jessica Hardy was a huge role model for me. As a kid, she came and did a clinic for us when I was like 13 or 14. And I got to spend quite a bit of time with her when she was there, in Seward, and she was the first like Olympian big athlete that I kind of got to know and see as like a regular person. So I feel like that's kind of something that I've really like taken to heart and kind of taken with me is like hopefully being a role model for other young women that can see me as like, oh, she's just a girl, like she's just like me, and she's achieved these things, like kind of breaking down those barriers of seeing an athlete as like almost superhuman. So I feel like that's kind of the mark that I hope to leave on the sport.
Yeah, especially being from, like you said, Alaska has kind of a small swimming pool and industry, I guess, in that state. Like you said, you're able to be that person, be like, "She did it, I can do it too," and that's just amazing. Um,
Yeah.
have you been able to meet those girls that look up to you or anyone that's wanting to swim that's from your home state that wants to do what you've done with your life? Have you met any of them, and what has their reaction been like as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. I've gotten to meet a lot of people. I've done quite a number of clinics now. It's still something I have to be honest that I'm not entirely comfortable with, especially like it's just hard. Like I'm only 20, so like if I do a clinic with a high school team, like some of those people are gonna be like practically the same age as I am. So it's just like funny to get used to, but I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. And just like I don't know, recognizing when I first started, I was very uncomfortable with it. Like I was like, I don't have anything to share with like these people. Like I don't know. And just kind of I've become more confident in what I have accomplished and kind of come to terms with how I can share that and how it can benefit other people.
Yeah,
But it's
and
always working.
yeah. Speaking about the confidence that you've gained, been able to just kind of get more comfortable with after you've reached this amazing amount of success at such a young age, being able to go into this year's Olympics, how has that confidence been able to really kind of give you that extra edge going into this year, versus when you were just 17 going to your first one?
Yeah, it's funny because like last Olympics, like nobody knew who I was, nobody expected me to medal. And this Olympics, like everybody expects me to medal and everyone knows who I am. So it's a very different situation. So I've just been kind of going back, like everybody tells you that you should swim for something greater than yourself, or you should do whatever you're doing for something greater than yourself, whether that's your family, your friends, your state, your country. Um, and like for a while after the Olympics, I really fell out of love with the sport. Um, and so I really learned to love it again through just doing it for me and doing it on my own terms. So I've just been approaching this year, like doing the sport for me and doing it on my own terms and just seeing where that takes me. So never be afraid to do something for yourself because it's not
Really
selfish.
soak it in. I mean, we're the same age and you're doing amazing things. I could not even
Thank
imagine
you.
what your parents and your friends from home would think. I would be like, "Wow, that is so cool." So
Oh,
good
thank
for
you.
you. And you have amazing brands such as Gillette Venus helping you, supporting you, and your family.
Yeah,
It's your home state, the country. Everyone's behind you. And
thank
we are
you.
so excited to see you swim this summer. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for taking the time.